Following program is rated G, suitable for general viewing.
On Castrol Speed Machine, Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway plays host to the 1993 Top Fuel Challenge. Buckle up as the 4,500 horsepower Top Fuel dragsters light up the night sky. Plus there's hard-hitting action from those fabulous fire-breathing funny cars. Who will be the first Top Fuel driver to blast into the elusive 4-second barrier? This is 300 km/h action with maximum traction. Yes, nice to have your company wherever you're watching right around Australia, and a warm welcome to Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne. Under overcast conditions, in excess of 30,000 spectators here for the 1993 Top Fuel Challenge. Steve bets a great crowd with some quality race cars that augurs well for a fabulous day.
It sure does, David, and of course the conditions in the weather absolutely perfect for top performance from these Top Fuel dragsters.
Yes, about 22 degrees here at Calder Park Raceway. Round one, in effect qualifying for the Top Fuel cars, will bring together a fine pairing. Graham Cowan from Sydney, that's him on screen. He'll take on Keith Aegis from Melbourne. And Aegis, Steve, has been fairly consistent in the last 6 months. He actually took home the spoils at the big Nitro Championships meeting at Eastern Creek. He puts the rubber down.
Yeah, Keith Aegis, of course, one of the guys who have kept consistent performance, but now has switched to a brand new combination in his Top Fuel engine. Twin magnetos, twin fuel pumps, and that really changes things in these cars, David.
At the top of the program, I was talking about the elusive 4-second barrier. That is really what Top Fuel racing in this country is all about, with all the guys very keen to drive into that historic time barrier.
Absolutely. It's been a barrier which has been broken in the US and is now the target for all the Australian Top Fuel drivers, but certainly the man from Rocket Industries right on screen now, Graham Cowan, is the man that's probably most capable of doing it, has all the right equipment with the right people, and he certainly is the driver capable of doing it.
He certainly is. Traction outstanding at this racetrack. We're set for a start in round one. Graham Cowan on the right-hand side of your screen. Great hole shot from him. Superb reaction time, and look at Graham Cowan making every use of 4,500 horsepower, through with a 5.144. Look at that time.
Absolutely unbelievable, and a .905 60-footer for Graham Cowan. That is spectacular.
Jubilation down on the start line. That is the fastest time ever recorded in this country by a Top Fuel car. And boy, oh boy, just look at the scenes. This is what sport's all about.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from Graham Cowan.
Can he back it up later on in the day? That's what it's all about. Charlie DeFilippo, another Victorian now, to do battle with Robin Kirby, also from Victoria. And Kirby, I always classify as Mr. Consistency.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic at this particular event that we're able to have the 3 cars from Victoria taking on the New South Wales team of Graham Cowan. But what a phenomenal performance Robin Kirby has been putting into racing in the last few months. Right into the mid-5s, not just into the 5s, right down into the mid-5s, and right alongside him, Charlie DeFilippo, still struggling to get a little bit together with this car, but he's had it all together before with a 540 at the Nationals, and he can repeat this performance here this weekend.
You're watching the 1993 Top Fuel Challenge from Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway. Kirby and DeFilippo lining up side by side. 9,000 horsepower now unleashed. DeFilippo was the better in the reaction time department, has a major problem now, and Robin Kirby running away with this one, a 5.599.
At 381 kilometres an hour for Robin Kirby.
Bad luck for Charlie DeFilippo, the crowd expressing their delight. There's nothing like these Top Fuel cars. We've got a lot more coming on the other side of this break. Welcome back to Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne, and what a wonderful motorsport facility. A huge crowd, in excess of 30,000 spectators, and they now wait with no little expectation for round 2 with the mighty Top Fuel cars. Graham Cowan paired against Keith Aegis, Steve.
This is first round of Top Fuel, and the conditions absolutely perfect. the light's starting to go down. The lights are on the racetrack, and this is going to be one spectacular round of top fuel racing.
Yes, the venue, a psychedelic, massive colour. The cars looking magnificent in their livery. That's Keith Aegis running under the Oz Nitro banner. Melbourneian campaigner, nicely turned out machine. Has been a little up and down in the past 6 months, but can get the job done. Now, these race cars are very volatile, Steve. 4,500 horsepower, supercharged, nitro-burning cars. A lot of stress on the supercharger and the clutch components.
Yes, incredible stresses on just about every component of these cars, David, but the critical thing with this run is that Graham Cowan has already run a 5.14 in this Rocket Industries top fueler. He has to run within 1% of that time to back it up for a new national record.
All important, we might be looking at history in the making here. Graham Cowan, that's him on screen, a man on a mission against the Oz Nitro entry of Melbourne's Keith Aegis. Green lights on now. Look at the nitro flames on Graham Cowan's top fuel car. He actually shuts down there, but will still record a very quick time, a 5.462.
At 269 kilometres an hour, and he shut that car down at half track, David.
And the crowd love the top fuel cars, don't they? That was a remarkable time because he did shut the car down at half track. He had lots more in reserve there. We move along to the next pairing. The atmosphere really starting to build here now. Charlie DeFilippo against Robin Kirby.
Charlie DeFilippo coming in the Yellow Terror lane, and in the Valvoline lane we've got Robin Kirby, and a brilliant run earlier on by Robin, and this is going to certainly be a tough race for Charlie. He has not had a good day up to this point.
No, he hasn't had, but he has turned in some very good numbers at this racetrack. Of course, he was in the final at the all-important Nationals here back in February, so we know he can produce the goods. The pit crew have worked tirelessly in an effort to obviously rectify the gremlins that he did encounter in his first run today. Beautiful television pictures coming from Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway.
Robin Kirby, one of the stars of top fuel right now, ever consistent as we've said before, and his engine is on song this weekend. The engine is running beautifully, and he's now got a solo. Charlie DeFilippo's got a major problem there. It looks like a fuel leak in the car. He's going to be shut down. The officials are now clearing the track for Robin Kirby to go on a solo run.
They're actually suggesting, Steve, that DeFilippo gets straight out of the race car, so they are concerned. You can see the sense of urgency by the Calder Park officialdom, and that is great indeed to see just how urgently they went about their business. Robin Kirby now on a solo run. He just needs to get to the other end of the racetrack, and he'll advance to the next round. Nothing flashy, let me tell you. In fact, he's got all sorts of problems, Robin Kirby. Motors through at a rather leisurely pace. Let's wait for the time. It's insignificant, really, a 9.088, not an indication of top fuel times.
No, and obviously something dramatic going wrong with Robin's engine there. A lot of smoke coming out of it. Maybe a few rings and bearings went west that time.
Yes, indeed. Now a real treat for race fans here at the venue. And I've already said a couple of times, there's more than 30,000 people at Calder Park. Oh, Dale Pedersen in the top alcohol funny car has found himself all over the racetrack.
Incredible stuff, and was he a lucky boy that that car went round sideways on the grass? If that had been on the asphalt, David, we would have seen that car roll over.
Look at the Castrol liquid engineering replay. I was talking about a treat for spectators. I didn't mean this. I meant the car going down the track.
Funny cars are spectacular, and Dale Pedersen keeping his boot into that burnout for the spectators, trying to put on a fantastic show. And look at this car bounce and bounce and bounce. And an actual thing with funny car racing, David, is that those header pipes that you see sticking out the side help the car in that situation. But look, he's coming back and is now going to run the car. Heartbreak, it's called.
Incredible. The car looks okay now. The pit crew will obviously check out the situation. Pedersen's had a terrible few months. It was only about 12 weeks ago at Eastern Creek in Sydney, his parachute failed to open on this car, and he ran through and stopped in a paddock, hitting a tree 500 metres away from the racetrack. He's rebuilt the car, he's back now, and you saw for yourselves. It looks as though the race car is A-OK, and Dale Pedersen will now turn on a 2,000 horsepower display for the big crowd here at Calder Park Raceway, and look at that car rocket up the quarter mile.
A 6.32 at 351 kilometres an hour after that burnout. That's a brilliant run for Dale Pedersen.
Love the funny cars, and we've got more coming on the other side of this break. Our action coming your way from the Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne, and now a nitro funny car on the racetrack. Romeo Capitanio is the driver, and just look at the smoke and the burnout, Steve Betts.
Yeah, this is a very different funny car to what the people are used to seeing, David. This is a nitro burner. This is just like a top fuel dragster but with a body on it. These cars will be making a great appearance at Calder Park coming up on December 18. It's going to be a meeting not to miss. 4 of these cars minimum, including the Australian champion, Peter Russo.
Yes, indeed, this funny car being driven by Romeo Capitanio, producing in excess of 4,000 horsepower, as opposed to the 2,000 horsepower top alcohol funny car that you saw Dale Pedersen driving prior to the last commercial break. So Capitanio now with a bunch of work to do.
Yeah, crew chief John Capitanio, Romeo's brother there, checking out everything on the fuel system, the computer on the car, and all the timers for the clutch system. He's making sure that everything is okay. Spectacular nitro-burning funny car.
Just park your peepers on this one, Australia. Romeo Capitanio lights up the back wheels and the exhaust flames, shooting them into the night sky. He's got a problem, no parachute, Steve.
No parachutes and knocking out the 1,000-feet lights, and Romeo's on a wild ride down the bottom end of the racetrack. He's going on our long dirt return road.
Well, fortunately, you do have a long dirt return road here at Calder Park Raceway. That could have been nasty. Capitanio travelling in excess of 200 miles per hour with no parachute, all getting back together now, and fortunately, we don't seem to have any more drama there.
A .923 60-foot time for Romeo. That was at least a 5:20 quarter-mile run. Brilliant stuff. Back to Top Fuel.
Top Fuel final, and not surprisingly, Graham Cowan lines up with Robin Kirby. Cowan now through the burnout procedure. All important, laying down plenty of rubber on the racetrack, and Cowan using plenty of high-tech computerization.
But Cowan with a problem, David. You can see the fuel on the racetrack in lane 2. He's got some problem in the fuel system, the high-tech computer controls of this car, something going wrong on this particular run. Kirby, however, backing back into the Valvoline lane, ready for a solo run for the final.
Well, that is a major letdown. All indications were that Graham Cowan was on line for a 4-second pass. Mechanical woes intervening. Robin Kirby a solo pass. The 30,000 fans here are feeling a little disappointed, and Robin Kirby now has mechanical woes of his own, and he'll complete a rather leisurely stroll down the Calder Park quarter mile. Robin Kirby, by the same token, wins Top Fuel Eliminator.
Graham Cowan beat you at Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway just 2 weeks ago at the Australian Drag Racing Series Grand Finals. So it's good to be 1-1 with the guy who's now the quickest person ever in Australian drag racing.
Look, I said a long time ago, and I think it was at Willowbank in Queensland, that it doesn't matter how big you are, the big guys fall, and so long as you remain pretty consistent and you can have the car ready for each round and you can run it down the track, you've got a good show of getting into the final.
Gerald McDornan with Robin Kirby, the winner of the 1993 Top Fuel Challenge. On behalf of your commentary team, comprising David Tapp and Steve Betts and the entire crew, take care and drive safely.